My name is Daniel Ford. I'm from New Albany, Mississippi. I was born and raised here. My parents are Jackie and Sandra Ford. My older brother Mark, and my younger brother John Peter, which leaves me as the middle kid. Um, how I got started with creativeness is the Boy Scouts of America. Um, I was in charge of the campfires for the Wednesday night family night. We would play with fire, and it was awesome. And I was kind of the director of the show. From there, I was at New Albany High School, and I got to edit video for In the Doghouse. And I did that for 2 years, I think, my junior and senior year. After high school, I went to Northeast Community College. Um, I started working for a company out of Tupelo called Magic Productions, and that spiraled into another company called Go For It Productions out of Booneville, Mississippi. And we primarily toured the Southeast and the Northeast with different artists like Joe Diffie, Sammy Kershaw, Rick Derringer, uh, long list, probably too long, and I'll probably forget half of it. Um, and then from there, I was offered a job in Memphis at Nolan Audio Visual, and of course, my parents told me that I either finish college or get a job in a factory that had benefits. And of course, obviously, I got a job that had benefits, that was in the business, and it was totally a hey, mom and dad, guess what happened? You never thought it would happen to me. And 20 years later, here I am. I worked at Nolan's in Memphis for about 10 years, and then COVID hit, and I went and started working with an install company called Memphis Audio. We installed AV systems in churches and schools, a long list of different things that didn't involve churches and schools, like offices and stuff like that, which was kind of cool. Um, and then I had a buddy, and I worked with his dad at Gopher in Booneville, and he's been with Eric Church for 15, 20 years. And he was like, hey, man, this is your opportunity to come out and get back out on the road with us. So I jumped at the opportunity, and ever since then, I've toured with artists like Eric Church, the Judds, um, Ricky Martin, Pitbull, Enrique Iglesias, um, Bad Bunny, Weezer, and probably more that I'm forgetting. So my job varies. Normally, I'm a dimmer tech, and that pretty much most people don't know what a dimmer tech is. So basically, it's like your breaker boxes in your house. I do that times 15, so I'll have 200 breakers, and each lighting fixture will have its own breaker. So I deal with making sure all the lights are on when they're supposed to be on, and I make sure the cable gets up to the grid. So when it's time for everything to go out or go up into the air for the show, everything's ready to go. And when I'm not doing that, I do stuff automated follow spot systems. Um, so we'll have 8 to 10 people backstage with a joystick staring at a screen, and they follow the person on the screen, and the lighting operator at front of house can turn the light on or off and change the color, and he doesn't have to worry about following the person. So there's somebody that does it backstage. So that's primarily what I do. If I'm not doing that, then I'm just a general tech, and I'm just making sure everything gets plugged up and floated out, and just basic day-to-day operations are set up.
How did you become interested in something like this?
So when I was going to New Albany Middle School, I went to First Baptist Church, and of course, after school, everybody went to the Family Life Center because it was, free childcare, basically. So we'd go hang out, play pool, play basketball, and on Wednesdays, I would help Brother Paul Sizemore. He's not there anymore, but I'd help Brother Paul set up the sound system, and eventually he just let me set it up every day, and he gave trust in me that it would be set up and ready for Wednesday night youth worship. So between that and Mr. David McMillan used to run sound in the main sanctuary, and on Sunday mornings and Sunday nights, I would go hang out at the soundboard. I was just intrigued by all the knobs and all the buttons, and that's what got me started. As far as linking those together, it's all about the show. So pyro, sound, lights, video, all those are intermingled into one at the end of the day because everybody's one big team to put one show on. So on the Eric Church tour that is going to start in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, here in 2 weeks, we have over 250 moving lights. We have 100 static fixtures, and that's a lot. I think total we have 6 lighting trucks for the whole tour. We have a total of 16 or 17 trucks that'll be on the tour with us. Um, Speakers, there's probably 80 speakers on the whole tour. Of course, they're all in line arrays, so it's hard to tell how many speakers are in each array. But the newer technology for sound, which is cool because you can stand behind the speakers and barely hear it, but you can stand in front and it's loud. So it's not like it was in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. The technology has progressed a lot.
How do you keep up with that technology?
You just keep studying and keep mashing buttons and try to stay ahead of the young kids that's coming into the game. I mean, I used to be a young kid, so I was gung ho and I was ready. And now with the follow me system, it's a lot. It can be very stressful, just to make sure that it actually tracks in the XYZ, just like in AutoCAD. If you're familiar with drawing in AutoCAD, you still have your X, Y, and Z. So the automated follow spots have basically a layover from AutoCAD or Vectorworks, which we use in the industry primarily. So that it automatically knows where everything's tracking and all that. So it can be a headache, especially if it's not set up properly from the start. So the very first thing that happens is I get off the bus in the morning, normally about 6:30 to 7. They start walking chalk at 7 a.m., which our head rigger, it's pretty much as it is. He walks around and he puts chalk mark on the ground, and that tells the local stagehands and the local riggers what motor goes in that spot, and then the local riggers can come behind him and draw the math to what actually happens in the air. And so that's walking chalk. So I'm normally there eating breakfast at 7 a.m. and then 7:20, 7:30, I'm looking for my power service because when 8 o'clock gets there, we get 20 stagehands and we have to roll because we're on a very tight schedule. Um, just coming out of rehearsals on any given day, our lighting rig in the air should be up by 11 a.m. to noon every day. And then, of course, the stage builds out where the audience would be. And once we get the trusses up and the stage is still building, now we're putting all the floor lights out. And the stage will normally roll in about 1 p.m. Band does sound check at 3. And then the openers have the stage from probably 4 to 6 or 4 p.m. to doors. And then we load out, and I get on the bus at 2 a.m. and I repeat the process. So 3, 4 hours of sleep every night, and then right back at it at 6:30. It all goes up together,
Okay.
but it rolls. So what happens is they build it out to where the audience would be, and then the stage will literally they'll get 40 stagehands and they'll literally push the stage into place. For the most part, everything is the same, actually. What's different is what is backstage, and the VOMs are different. Your storage back under the bleachers and all that, that's all different. But as far as the floor, The floor is the same. If they do basketball only, it's a little bit smaller. Most of the places do basketball and hockey. So a lot of days we have the hockey dashers, and we're building on ice. They basically lay 4x8 sheets of special plywood out that doesn't create static. And but for the most part, the floor is the same in every venue. As far as the big arenas like FedEx Forum, the Bridgestone in Nashville, it's the same because the NBA and the National Hockey League (NHL) they have strict rules.
So your layout's pretty much the same on those types of places.
Yeah, for the most part.
What about when you go to festivals?
So I try to turn down festivals, honestly. Even though that's part of that. I did a lot of festivals. I did the Tallahatchie River Fest for years with the guy out of Tupelo with Magic Productions. Did festivals all over North Mississippi. It rains. It's hot. It's cold. You're outside. You're dealing with the weather. So I try not to do festivals. I've gotten tricked a couple of times this year. I actually got tricked into doing a rock festival in Ocean City, Maryland, with Def Leppard, which was cool. Um, I had to do it just because it's Def Leppard, and I like to play drums, and the drummer only has one arm, so it's kind of weird how he does it. So it was cool to get to see that, but yeah, I'm kind of over festivals, especially the ones on the beaches where you got sand everywhere. But for the most part, festivals are a total different breed. They normally will have a total separate rig for festivals, and that's another 2 to 3 trucks that just sits 10 months out of the year, just in case they want to use them. So there's a lot of money tied up in the business, and sometimes more than others. It just depends on the artist.
On a big artist like Eric Church, how many people would you say are employed in just the kind of lighting and stage stuff?
So just on our lighting team, we have 8 people. We have a crew chief. On this one, we have a crew chief, 3 dimmer techs actually, and then we have 4 general stagehand or general lighting hands that tour with us that help pin all the rig together and get everything off the ground. The carpenters, they have one, two, they have 5 people. Audio has 6 people. So we're probably 40 people. That's just touring crew that goes out on the tour every show.
And y'all all kind of travel together?
Yes, we live on a tour bus, which is kind of cool. It's not made for most people, but it's also not hard. So we have 12 bunks on the bus, and we have a back lounge and a front lounge. We have a full refrigerator. Some buses have 2 refrigerators, 2 mini fridges. It just depends on the bus. We have TVs all over the place, and once you get on, normally when I get on the bus, it's time to go to sleep. So, but the bus life, it can be fun, or it cannot be your thing. It just depends.
So what's the next tour you're working up to?
So currently, right now, I'm contracted till April. So we'll get a couple months off, and we'll get retainer for all that, which is awesome. Eric does take care of his crew. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't see that side of it, but he is one of the better artists as far as taking care of people. Weezer was pretty good too. Um, Weezer is probably one of the only tours that I've done that paid for your laundry. They sent it out and brought it back and paid for it, which was cool. So,
So after April, then you'll be like just looking for another group to hook up with, or what?
so how I do it is I have 3 or 4 companies that I work with and that I freelance through. And once one tour's over, the company that I'm currently working for, they may throw me on something else. It just depends. I can do anything from rap to R&B to country to rock to reggaeton like Bad Bunny. It just depends. There's talk of more dates with Eric for stadium stuff in the summer, but who knows? It all depends. I know we have FIFA coming in next year for the soccer stuff, and of course all the stadiums, all the football stadiums for sure will be tied up, and possibly some of the baseball stadiums. Most of my favorite artist is Marty Stewart. He's a Mississippi guy, but between him and Travis Tritt, those are my two favorite. And I did meet Travis Tritt last year. I almost ran him over with my bicycle. I came around the corner on the bus, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, man. Hey,
Were
good to
you
meet you,
working
though."
for him at that time?
He was opening for Eric.
Okay.
He was opening for Eric, and I don't remember where we were. I think we were in St. Louis, but it was cool to get to hear him. But of course, he's older and he doesn't sing like the album, so it's kind of a letdown. But it was still cool to get to see him.
Well, when you're working during a show, I mean, how much are you really getting to enjoy the show when you're
I'm not.
working?
I go eat at cater, and we go take naps because that's we work till two to 3 o'clock every day, making sure everything's up and working. And like I say, we're 2 or 3, 4 hours of sleep at night. So when you can catch a nap, you go to your bunk and you take a nap. So when I was in the journalism program at New Albany High School, my junior and senior year, and I mentioned earlier we edited the video for In the Doghouse and helped film it, produce it, put everything on. Um, there was a guy named Travis Haley, and he was with Victory Life Church, I believe, and they had their own little TV station. But prior to that, Ruth and Charlie would air in the Doghouse, and so I would go help them do small things here and there, just to try to learn stuff. And that's about it. I didn't do much with Ruth and Charlie, but I
I mean, it
do
was the closest thing
remember.
to a TV station we had.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a TV
Yeah.
station. It was.
They had a channel though.
They did have a channel, Channel 99, right?
Yes. Yeah. It
Yeah, it's
was
Channel
Channel 99.
99, and it their TV station consisted of somebody riding around in a car just filming stuff and playing music. It was great. They did actually do some interviews and stuff, but I really wasn't there for a lot of that. Of course, I didn't watch a lot of TV. We were, we grew up in the South, so we're all outside playing. Um, so, and between that, helping my granddad with his farm is fun.
Is this?
And they had the TV station here and the one in Ripley, I believe.
I don't remember.
I think they had there was one in Ripley they had too.
You always had like a box of cords in the trunk of your car.
And still do.
And you always, like, if somebody needed a certain kind of cord, there's a great chance you were going to have it.
I probably would have it.
So, how did that happen? Why did you always have that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I still do. It's weird. It's my suitcase. I have a little microphone pouch that's got 10 different charging cables, and because you never know what you need to charge or whatnot.
Um, did you ever like go to school for this?
No, I did not.
You just got
I
you got
just
the job.
I just started doing it. I just started learning it, and honestly, most people that do go to school for this, probably 75%, don't make it because they're not taught real world. They're taught textbook, and when people come to the real world and actually have to work, you start seeing where, yeah, you're not going to cut it, buddy.
Have you ever had the opportunity to do any lighting design?
Yes, so I was at Nolan Audiovisual in Memphis for 10 years. I did lighting design for corporate events. I did a lot of Tupperware events, design and program and operate. Um, AutoZone National Sales Meeting. I would design, operate, program, do all the stuff, make it all work, make it pretty. Which that AutoZone was a hard one because you only have three colors: red, amber, and white. So you can't mix green in because that's O'Reilly. I did it as a joke one time when they hollered at me. Thought I was gonna get fired. No, I'm just kidding. But no, tons of shows. A lot of stuff for FedEx. So now I've kind of left the design part back because there's people that are way better. Um, I still design a little bit. I design and program the National Civil Rights Museum's award show every year. They bring people in from all over the place and honor them each year. So I look forward to doing that in October this year.
Um, so when you go on these tours, like that, the person who does the lighting design, are they on tour also, or do they create it and then send it with you?
So normally what happens is you have a show designer or an artistic designer, and his job is the overall aspect of the whole show. Then you have a lighting designer, and normally those guys will sit down. So we'll float everything. Like in rehearsals, I was in Lidditz, Pennsylvania for a whole month, actually 2 month and a half. I was up there for 7 weeks, and we prepped the rig at the office at our shop, and then we went to the rehearsal studios, which is on campus. They have everything. It's a roadie's paradise. They have rehearsal studios, stores for roadies. Then they have a hotel, and it's kind of funny because the restaurant in the hotel is called Per Diem. So everybody goes and spends their per diem when they get off work there. Um, but the designers, once we get everything set up, they go in, they start doing programming. Everything is programmed Q to Q on this show. Some shows are not like that. Um, and that's kind of their process. So once that's set up, they'll go to the first 2 or 3 shows just to make sure their vision is still being done. And then they dip out and they may pop in periodically throughout the tour just to say hey, just to come hang out. But that's kind of how those guys work. As soon as they get one done, they're starting on another one.
Do people go to school for that?
You can go to school for that. Most of those guys have just started in the business, and the older they get, they just start stepping into new roles.
What's the next role you want to step into?
If I do anything, I'd probably go with the project manager. So, project manager for a big company, and I could be managing 5 or 6 projects at one time.
I would think that the job that you have right now is pretty labor intensive.
Yes and no. As a matter of fact, really the only thing I do is I point and I talk. And as long as I can point and give directions very well, it's pretty easy.
Somebody
Um,
else is doing the.
Somebody has to, like, when I get up north, like in New York City, local one. In the South, we don't have a lot of unions in the stagehand world, but up north, it's all unions, and it's their job. It's their job to pick it up. It's my job to tell them what to do when they pick it up. So when we tour in the South, a lot of the guys I work with, they're very hands on, and I try not to be hands on because it prepares me for when I go up north. And if you can give good directions, then as long as you're not dealing with somebody who doesn't want to do the job, then you're good. Actually, I never really started as a stagehand. Um, yes, I had to people. I was young, so I had to get direction. But once I learned what my job was, then I could tell people what to do. The smaller companies, like the company from Tupelo, um, that company, they would not hire as many stagehands, and I would literally physically have to do a lot of work, which I was 18, 19 years old, so it was totally cool. And of course, at that age, making a couple $100 a night was pretty awesome. Maybe a design company or something along those lines. Or I don't want to own equipment because let's say the lighting consoles that we use right now, they cost about $80,000 to $90,000 a piece, and that technology in a couple years could flip, and you're kind of sitting there holding a bunch of money.
Do you purchase or receive merchandise from these tours?
So I normally don't buy anything, any of the merch. Um, unless somebody calls me and tells me, "Hey, can you get me a T-shirt?" A lot of artists, like actually most of the artists, just for the touring crew, they'll have one day that you can go to the merch table and you can get whatever you want at a specified discount rate. So shirts may be $10, hoodies may be 20, to whereas they're selling shirts for $40 to $80 a piece to the general public. Hoodies are probably 60 to 100. Just depends on the artist. Bad Bunny shirts were $80. I think Eric he does t-shirts for about 40. So
Um, I just wondered if you had like a collection of posters or anything like
so I
that.
have a couple posters from Eric because he does some pretty cool posters for each city. Um, and then I have a bunch of Eric Church shirts because I mean $5 $10 a t-shirt was all right. I'll do that and I'll buy shirts for the family and everything. But for the most part, I don't spend my money on the road. You know, we get catering every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then we get after show food, which for Eric is normally a food truck. And most people, you know, they'll put pizza on the bus at 10 p.m. and it's cold by the time you get to it at 1 2 o'clock in the morning. So, but we do after show food too. So it's it's something. So I live in Memphis, but it's only a actually. So I live in Memphis and I'm in New Albany. Um, I'm never in Memphis. I have an apartment there. I pretty much only use it for when I'm doing local gigs in Memphis, and the rest of the time I'm hanging out down here, or I'm in between Memphis and New Albany a lot. But when I go out like with Bad Bunny and Weezer and a lot of those tours, I'm literally gone for 6 to 7 months solid. So normally spend about 10 months out of my year on the road.
How much longer are you going to do that?
I don't know. We'll see. I try not to do the I'm gone for 6 months solid. I like the weekend warrior stuff, which is primarily country. So each week I just drive to Nashville, get on a bus. So, but my goal is the next 10 years, and then I'll try to move up into an office job.